So you've decided to live the low-carb lifestyle. Maybe you're even going to go hardcore and live the ketogenic lifestyle. Whether you're a beginner or a veteran, there are always some foods that we miss from our old eating habits. But fear not, for there are low-carb foods that you can substitute for those high-carb favorites. So let's do a quick recap of foods you want to eat on a keto diet. Then we'll look at those foods that can be substituted for their high-carb counterparts. Now, if you're a subscriber or a longtime viewer of my channel, then you'll know that I already have a video covering what foods to eat and what foods to avoid on a low-carb or keto diet. You can go back and review that video or refresh your memory if it's been a while since you've watched it. Just click the little card up there. But we'll run down the list again really quickly and see if there are any surprises in there. But before we begin, credit where credit is due. The information in this video comes from Dr. Andreas Eenfeldt at dietdoctor.com and from the blog of Dr. Sara Neidler on nutrita.app. Both of these websites are excellent resources for anyone on an LCHF or ketogenic diet. And I'm doing an Amazon gift card giveaway, which I'll explain at the end of the video, so be sure to watch all the way to the end for that. And without further ado, our keto food recap. Ideally, eat unprocessed meats, as excessive processing of any food can lead to many health problems. Steer towards organic and grass-fed meats. On the keto diet, it's important to choose cuts of meat that are on the fattier side as opposed to lean cuts. Also remember that it's easy to overeat animal protein, and excess protein is converted to glucose, which can make it harder to get into or remain in ketosis. Check out my video on protein for more info on that. Processed meats like sausages, cold cuts, and meatballs can also contain added carbs. Check the ingredient list for those hidden sugars and carbohydrates. All fish is good, but the higher the oil content, the better the fish is for you, as it will be higher in omega-3 fatty acids. If it's fresh, then the fishier it smells, the better it is for you. Wild-caught fish is preferable to farm-raised. It doesn't matter how you cook your eggs, but adding in a healthy fat like butter or olive oil is a great way to get some added fat. Buying organic, cage-free, or free-range eggs is the best bet. And remember, please, no more than 36 eggs per day. Show some restraint. Most of the calories on a low-carb or ketogenic diet should come from fat. You'll likely get much of it from the previous sources, but try to use fats in your cooking. Use natural fats like butter, coconut oil, and olive oil. Avoid highly processed corn, vegetable, seed, and nut oils, as they contain the highly inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. Try to find and eat vegetables that grow above ground. Fresh is obviously preferable, but in a fast-paced world, frozen is fine as well. Eat lots of leafy greens like spinach, kale, or mustard greens, and other vegetables that grow above ground like cauliflower, avocado, broccoli, and zucchini. Cook your veggies in fat like butter or olive oil, and avoid vegetables that are highly processed. I'm sensing a theme there. And not to bury the lead, but we'll see in a moment that vegetables are one of our major substitutes. We're looking for high-fat dairy products. Butter, as mentioned, is good. High-fat cheeses are fine, and high-fat yogurts can be eaten in moderation. Avoid low-fat yogurt, as sugar is typically added to replace the fat. Look for the fat percentage on the container. The higher the number, the better. Heavy cream is better than half and half is better than milk. Avoid drinking milk as the dairy sugar lactose quickly adds up. If you use milk in coffee or in your baking and cooking, then use whole milk. And finally, be aware that regularly snacking on cheese when you're not hungry is a common mistake that can slow weight loss. Snacking in general is a bad idea. Most nuts can be eaten in moderation, but be careful when eating nuts as snacks, as you can easily overeat them. Again, avoiding snacking in general is the best idea. Instead, try eating nuts as an after-meal dessert or a pre-meal appetizer. Be aware that some nuts, such as cashews, are relatively high carb. Macadamia nuts, walnuts, or pecans are your best bet. Most nuts are high in omega-6 fatty acids, which can lead to inflammation. So, again, eat them in moderation. Most berries are okay in moderate amounts. Try adding in some homemade, unsweetened vanilla whipped cream for a great dessert. Stay away from very concentrated fruit sources like dried fruit and fruit juice. Most important, water, water, water. After that, tea, just don't add sugar. And of course, coffee, again, no sugar. A small amount of whole milk or cream is fine, but definitely avoid those cafe lattes.
You can't put a limit on my cafe lattes. It says so right here. And I don't want to get dirty looks when I come in here. If I want a cafe latte, you give me a cafe latte. And if I have any problems, I'm going to get my lawyer, Jackie Charles, down here. You're going to be in really big trouble.
Stir in butter and coconut oil as an added source of fat, known as bulletproof coffee. And that's it for foods to eat. So let's talk substitutions. For all you bakers out there, substitute almond flour or coconut flour. It's worth noting that these flours don't act in exactly the same way as wheat flour. Also, they're highly processed, and while not being as detrimental to your health as wheat flour, they should be consumed in moderation. Almond flour is much higher in net carbs and contains a significant amount of concentrated omega-6 fatty acids. Coconut flour is much lower in net carbs and has nearly no omega-6. Coconut flour also has a minimal impact on insulin levels due to it consisting mostly of fiber. Bear in mind that both these flours have a different texture from wheat flour, so some adjustment will be needed. We all know that we have to avoid sugar, especially added sugar, but sometimes we just crave something with a little sweetness. Now, if natural berries don't get the job done for you, then you can consider using a sugar substitute. There's much debate about which of these are best, and the true answer is none of them. But if you have to use one, then I would recommend erythritol. It has minimal, if any, impact on blood glucose and blood insulin levels. Again, use it in moderation on special occasions, perhaps. I do have a wicked vanilla ice cream recipe that's worth trying. These are some high-carb foods that people love. They're generally forbidden on the ketogenic diet. A great substitute for both of these, and most likely far healthier, is the versatile cauliflower. You can buy cauliflower fresh, then boil or steam it, and then use a ricer to make a really great substitute for rice. Now, if you're like me, then you can buy it already riced and frozen. Nowadays, the grocery has all kinds of riced cauliflower blends, from fried rice style to Southwest style. It has a similar texture to rice, but a different flavor. I do have a great cauliflower fried rice recipe that I hope to add to the channel soon. And as for potatoes, cauliflower is also an excellent substitute. Mashed cauliflower is super tasty and easy to make. I do have a recipe for that one. And for you breakfast lovers, I have made a really excellent corned beef hash with cauliflower that's out of this world. So hopefully a recipe for that coming soon. Bread is another big one that people, especially when first going on keto, have a hard time getting over. There are some good recipes and some bad ones for everything from rolls and buns to pizza dough. Most of these recipes use the previous flours we discussed, as well as psyllium husk powder, which is basically pure fiber. Personally, I don't think bread should be a mainstay of anyone on a low-carb or keto diet, but there are some good recipes out there, and perhaps I can share a few of them in the future. Also, be aware that most keto bread substitutes have a different texture than regular bread. Consider using spiralized vegetables as a replacement for this. Pick up a spiralizer at your grocery store, and you can make your own fresh and healthy zucchini, cucumber, or carrot pasta. These can also be found frozen or prepackaged fresh, but always check the ingredient list. Generally, if I see anything other than the veggie I want, and maybe some salt, I won't buy it. Spaghetti squash is an excellent substitute for, you guessed it, spaghetti. It takes a little work as you have to cook it, split it, and use a fork to remove the strands from inside. You can also, of course, find this frozen or fresh packed. If you're keto but can't drink or eat dairy, you do have some options. Obviously, nut milks, but again, these are highly processed and often have a great deal of added sugar. Be sure to check those ingredients. Coconut milk is an alternative as long as it's full fat. And for coffee lovers who are lactose intolerant, you can give coconut cream a try. Now, I'd stay away from soy milk as it's generally highly processed and contains many additives. And while cheese is generally keto-friendly, if you're lactose intolerant, you can find some nut cheeses in stores which are typically made from cashews. Or you can make your own. Maybe that's another recipe in hiding. But that's another video. Now, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. And if you like the video, please hit the thumbs up button as that does help me with exposure. Oh, and as for that giveaway, every 2,500 new subscribers, I'll be giving away a $25 Amazon gift card. The next milestone is 12,500, where I'll give away one gift card. At 15,000, I'll give away two. At 17,500, I'll give away three. And at 20,000, I'll give away four. Then we'll start over again. To enter, all you need to do is subscribe to the channel and leave a like and a comment on this video. It's that simple. Again, just my way of saying thank you to all my subscribers and those who support the channel and the information. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time, keep being a loser.